We're here at Paradise Creek Campground, Gifford Pinchot National Forest here in the great state of Washington. Let's go check out the campsites. Here's campsite number one. You got your driveway, picnic table and fire pit, cool stations with carved down logs. I will say you see the railing on the other side of the forest, that is the main road. This is campsite one, so there's the turnoff, and here is your first site. So not going to be the best privacy as far as main highway noise. Here is your tent pad, pretty good shade. So again, I love that log right there you can sit on. That's very cool. I love that they've kind of made a workstation. I really like these. Let me pan up and show you this epic old growth forest with the sun. So you get a little bit of sun, but it's mostly shaded, which is what you want in summer. So decent little kiosk with informational nuggets for you. Never forget this is bear country. Here's your self-service pay station. Little workstation here made for you if you need to write on something. Very cool. And let's continue along. Here's campsite 2. Got your driveway, got your picnic table, your fire pit, and really wide open swath of forest, so this feels nice. You got your tent pad right there. See that silver railing on the other side of the forest? That is the main highway, so that's a ding against this site. You're still kind of near the turnoff. One's right over there. Fortunately, you have a site right here. Look how close that is. So I would not do two because of the privacy lines. Picnic table there, picnic table here. You're in your tent right there in the tent pad, you know, whatever that is, 25, 30 feet away, you got people in the prime of their campsite. That is no bueno. Between that and the road noise, I would not pick site 2. Keeping it real. Generally speaking, the first few sites close to the turn-in are gonna be louder sites. So, you know, people have different preferences. The camp host is right between 1 and 2 on the other side. So if you want to be near the camp host, if you want to buy firewood, if you kind of like the comfort of feeling like you got somebody who can help you, 1 or 2 are great. And I know there's some people that think like that, but if you're trying to be more private, secluded, then I would not pick this bay. Here's 3. You got your driveway, you got your picnic table, you got your fire pit, you got your tent pad behind that. So I gotta say the forest is pretty awesome. Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Kind of has a wide open feel. All these massive towering old growth. I'm gonna pan up here actually, look at this. Pretty gorgeous section of forest, so I gotta give it that. Straight ahead, you see that silver railing, that is the main road. So that's not good. Then if you look over here, you can see there's a picnic table, fire pit, and tent pad right here. So 2 and 3 have horrible privacy lines. So for that reason, I would not do 2 or 3, my humble opinion. When I first got here, I drove through the whole area, and I know there are much higher quality sites with better privacy lines, so we shall see those soon. Here is site 4, picnic table and fire pit across the way. First we'll say, got your driveway. So this is another one of those situations where you got another site right next to you. Here's 4, so that's a bit of a nightmare. I wouldn't do 4 for that reason alone. You got another site right here, and then you got your picnic table, fire pit, tent pad. Wouldn't do that one. When they're right on top of each other like that, if you weren't best friends with the strangers before you started, you might be by the end. And if you're coming at it from a single family point of view, trying to have a private, secluded experience, then that is not what you're looking for. So 4, not great. Also, it's an inner. Generally, the inners are going to be worse fishbowl privacy lot lines. The outers are going to be better. General camping rule of thumb. There's a 5. And here's your driveway. You got your picnic table and fire pit the other side of this tree. Got your tent pad, beautiful forest. You've got campsites over there, but this has got better lot lines than 2 and 3 did. I don't know, it's okay, serviceable, but we haven't really gotten to our feature yet. There's Paradise Creek, and that's straight ahead a bit. These are not up against the creek. I'd rather be up against the creek. We're looking for the creme de la creme sites. Here's 6. Driveway, picnic table, fire pit, and your tent pad. So let's see here. You've got a couple sites to your left. And you see between these two trees, you got a picnic table on the other side of that. And you got picnic tables over there. So this is, again, inner sites are always going to be the worst by definition because they're fishbowled, and you're going to have sites on the other side of the campground loop that are straight line of sight. So I generally stay away from inners. I prefer outers, typically against the feature, whether it's a river, creek, lake, mountain view. You want an outer next to the feature. That's always going to be your best campsite in any campground. General rule of thumb, here is 7. Got your driveway, got your tent pad straight ahead. This one's getting a little bit better as we're getting deeper into the campground. Picnic table, fire pit. You can hear the roar of Paradise Creek. It's a bit back there a little ways. I do see what appears to be a trail. So dare we go take it. I love it when you got your own private campsite path to the creek, because then you kind of have dominion rather than a community access point. So I'm gonna place a wager that there's a little foot trail there. It looks like it's been mostly maintained. That's probably a trail down to Paradise Creek. So I think 7 so far is the best one. It's got pretty good lot lines. Sorry to speak too soon. We do have one right there. Sorry to say I had good lot lines. There's one right there, so that's not great lot lines. I'd say 7 is the best of the first 7. It does appear to have a trail down to the creek, but you do have either 8 or 9 right there, straight shot. So still not optimal, but they're getting better the deeper we get into the campground. So 7's got some pluses, and here is 8. Picnic table, fire pit, tent pad. Again, it's an inner. I'm not going to be a broken record. You can see there's a picnic table right there. Not a fan of 8. Oh, you have a picnic table over there, and you have a picnic table over there, and a picnic table over there, and you got a picnic table on the other side. So you are triangulated. Here is 9. Got your driveway. Great shade in this one. You've got your tent pad, picnic table, fire pit. You are starting to get on the creek side, the outer loop and the feature side. So you do have 7 right there. So that's a little bit of a privacy ding. 7 and 9 have a line of sight, but this is outstanding shade. Again, here's your tent pad. The birds seem to love this area. And let's come down here. This very well might be your own private access to Paradise Creek, which would be pretty epic. Which would make 9 the best site so far. And we made contact with Paradise Creek. I'm not going to say this is like an epic lookout zone. This is pretty rough. But it does exist. Here is campsite number 10. You can see it's right next to the restroom. Could be a plus or minus depending on if you want access or privacy. Kind of close to where the parking is. You're not really recessed back. I do like that you've got like some workstation logs. You got a picnic table, fire pit, tent pad. Ooh, look across the way. That is atrocious privacy lines. You also have a campsite over there. I'd say privacy lines are terrible on this one. You've got one right across the way, looks like a double. The curse of the inner privacy line strikes again. So I wouldn't do this one. Also got that one over there. So 10 I would not do personally, although it's a beautiful forest area. Well, you got one over there too. 11 to 16. Let's go take a look at this little loop before we continue on to 17, which is on the road we were just on. Here is campsite 11. You got your driveway, you got your picnic table, your fire pit, you have the restroom right there. If you want access to that, that's good. If you're worried about the privacy, that's bad. This seems to be a different type of picnic table than other types. It's not a big deal, me just noticing random observations. This doesn't seem like a very high quality one, keeping it real. It's an inner with kind of nothing going for it. See straight ahead, these ones are a little bit more old growth foresty. I prefer these. 12. You got your driveway, picnic table, stump here is a good like workstation. Got your fire pit right there. You do have what I'm presuming is 13 right next to you, so the lot lines aren't great, but this section of forest is awesome. Well, you got another one right over there. See the line of sight? Because that's the main road where 17 goes in and on continues. So don't love the lot lines at 12, keeping it real. I'm sure I sound like I'm being uber picky, but the point of doing these campground reviews is to look for epic premium level sites. You know, if you're not at all picky, then it doesn't really matter what site you get. But if you're really trying to look for awesome, epic, magical site, then that is why I am doing this. 13, got your driveway, got your picnic table, your fire pit. Put your tent right there. It's not really a defined pad, but you don't need a pad. So again, you got 12 right there, so you're kind of on top of each other. Got a big wide section of forest. There's some sort of trail there. Don't know where that goes. Doesn't seem like it's the direction of Paradise Creek, but it could be going to Paradise Creek. I don't know. Not really the biggest fan of this one. I will say this. I'm a fan of Gifford Pinchot National Forest, but I like more of the old growth rainforest sections. Like I did Panther Creek earlier, and I really liked Panther Creek. Candidly, so far I liked Panther Creek better than Paradise Creek. Very similar because they were both P Creek. But this is kind of, see all this underbrush? This is kind of what I call dirty forest. Here's 14D. D indicates it's a double. And we've got the driveway. There's your double picnic table. Not a fan of the lot lines. See, you got 10 right across the way there. So you got your fire pit, you've got tent pad 1 and tent pad 2 the other side of this tree. You do have 10 right across the way there, so I'm not a fan of those lot lines. For me, that'd be a deal breaker. Do have a bathroom over there. I don't know, not feeling 14D personally, but again, it's an inner. I'd rather be on an outer near the feature. In this case, Paradise Creek. Here's 15. Got your driveway, got your picnic table, got your fire pit. A couple places you can put your tent. You can put it straight ahead under these trees, or you can put it over there. It doesn't have a defined tent pad, but you don't need a defined tent pad. So that's 15. Okay. Let's continue along. Here is 16. And you got a picnic table, fire pit. You can see the forest road on the other side of this section of forest. So you got the road kind of meandering all the way around you. Here's your driveway. There's your tent pad. Getting your fire pit, picnic table. I like that you've got kind of like a workstation, this log with a flat, smooth surface. So this is pretty cool. I mean, I like it. It's pretty. You do have a footpath right to your neighbor at 15. So if you weren't best friends when you started, you might be by the end. For me, that's a bit of an issue. Got restrooms straight ahead, so that could be good or bad. That's good if you want access, bad if you're worried about privacy, because people will be going to them all the time. So I don't know. This isn't by any means an epic site. You got close proximity to 15 at 16, so that might be an issue if you're worried about privacy lines, but you know, not bad. Serviceable. Here is campsite 17. Pretty basic. You got your driveway, you got your tent pad, first you got your picnic table. Kind of feels claustrophobic. Doesn't feel like anything's going on for it. It's far enough away from Paradise Creek that I'm not feeling the vibe, and it's so claustrophobic. I would not do campsite 17. Here is site 18. You got a picnic table, fire pit. It's an inner site. So, you can see there's some picnic tables across the way. Oh, and there's one straight ahead there. That is 12. So you got 12 right across the way. You can wave to your neighbor. And you got fire pit, picnic table. I like the little table here, the flat, smooth workstation. Probably put your tent straight ahead there to the right of the fire pit. Seems like the main flat area over here. That's 18. It's an inner and it's right across from 12, so I probably would steer clear of that one. Here's 19. Picnic table, fire pit, tent pad, your driveway, of course. So I like that this is on the outer. As far as lot line 17 is over there, good obstruction, so lot lines are pretty good. 18's over there and you got some obstruction. So 19's actually got some pretty good lot lines. You got your fire pit, your tent pad. And the Paradise Creek is straight ahead. Looks like there's a network of trails back here. So I'm just gonna wager that if you played around and went that way or that way, you very well may access Paradise Creek. I'm not gonna claim it's a picturesque shoreline access scenario, but it feels like you do have exposure. So 19 is decent. Feels feel like our quality is improving the deeper we go into the campground, and that's pretty common. So I'm digging 19. I think 19's got some stuff going for it. I like 19. Here's 20D for double. Got your driveway, got your fire pit, got your double picnic table. You got a 10 pad on that side and a 10 pad on that side. I'm actually really liking 20. This is clearly an outer site on the outer ring right up against Paradise Creek. So we've got a little trail here. I'm gonna take it. It's nice and wide and I can already sense the creek. Look at that. We're walking right up to Paradise Creek. So far 20 is by far the best in my humble opinion. 20D, I should say. It is a double. And look at that, Paradise Creek. Yeah, 20 by far is the best. Clearly you can go down here. I mean, any able-bodied person should be able to make this little trek down to Shoreline, and then you are hanging out at beautiful Paradise Creek. It is a namesake for the campground. It's not crazy to think your campsite would actually be up against it, and 20D is. So 20D is definitely my favorite so far. Let's hike back up to campsite 20D, D meaning double, so it's going to be more expensive, but this is definitely my favorite campsite so far. This little section is actually pretty steep, and we made it up here. And here's your double picnic tables. 110 pad on that side, 110 pad on that side. Got some workstations, the smooth surface of a log, 2 of them. Of course, your driveway and your fire pit. So I gotta say, campsite 20 is the best so far. I would say 20 to me is the first premium site here. I think 20 is epic. The access to the little trail on the other side of the picnic table down to the shoreline of Paradise Creek is world class. So 20D is the first epic level campsite here at Paradise Creek. I think most of the rest of them are either mediocre or horrendous, purely because of the lot lines, nothing else. Okay, let's continue along. We're still only about halfway done, so maybe a little bit more. 21, got your picnic table and your fire pit and your tent pad on the right. So you see what I'm saying? After we just went creekside, how can you come to an inner site like this and be as impressed? You got no creek access, and you're on the inside. Lot lines aren't terrible, but I wouldn't do 21. Got a water pump across the way, that's convenient. Just past 21 before 22. So hopefully after we just did 20D, which I thought was epic, you're starting to see why I'm being so picky. Because after you go see 20D, where you're right up against the shoreline of Paradise Creek, which is the namesake of this campground, and you go to one of these inner ones and you're just landlocked and fishbowled, why would you want to be at the landlocked fishbowl one when you can be sitting in your chairs on the shoreline of Paradise Creek? So to me, that's why I'm so picky on the lower quality ones. Hopefully that makes sense in context. Here's 22. I think this could be a good one. Got a driveway, 10 pad, fire pit, picnic table. As far as lot lines, you do have, presumably, 23 right there. So that's not good because 23 is right up against the road. So 23 is looking at you, waving at you. That's an issue. But as I walked up, I was hoping that this is going to get us some sort of Paradise Creek access. Sure it is. Clearly this is a defined trail for campsite 22. Yeah, straight ahead I can see the water. So if you walk across this little rock section, then you can get up to the creek. So 22 is decent. Probably going to be a top fiver. Typically I do a top 5 video, and 20D is definitely the best one, although the double is suboptimal because that makes it twice as expensive typically. 22 is a single, so that's good. Not quite as premium creekside access as 20D, but and you got 23 kind of in your business. But okay, here's 23. Don't even have to walk down the site to see it. You got your picnic table, your fire pit, your driveway. I don't like how the picnic table is right against the road here, and it kind of ends up obstructing 22 a little bit, like intruding, a little intrusive. So that's suboptimal. I love that giant tree right there, the log. That really helps with your privacy lines. So the giant log is awesome for privacy because you don't have to worry about what's on the other side of it because you can't see it. Fire pit's cool. I like that you got a workstation there with a flat surface of the trunk. So really my main complaint about 23 is, as you can see, the picnic table is like right here on the road, which kind of makes it very close to 22. But beyond that, it's actually a pretty decent site. For an inner, it's a pretty good site, I'll say that. And let's continue along. Here is campsite 24. Got your driveway. Let's cross over here. Pretty epic Ogo tree. Look at that. I gotta highlight that. That is beautiful. Moss all the way to the very top. It's pretty epic, gotta say. Dr. Seuss, Tim Burton style epic tree, kind of the centerpiece of site 24. So you got your picnic table, you got your fire pit. Looks like that's your tent pad. So, I mean, I don't think it's over there. So it's all kind of one little blob of all three things in one claustrophobic area. And look at how close you are to the road. So I'm digging this awesome tree, but beyond that, it's kind of a claustrophobic inner. So I'm probably not in love with 24. Here's 25. And you got your driveway, you got your picnic table, your fire pit. This could be a really good one. I'm already getting the vibe. There's your tent pad. And just because of the way this is situated, look at these lot lines. Oh my gosh, these lot lines are great. You've got probably 26 over there, but that's not gonna have a straight shot to your picnic table. So lot lines are great for 25. I'm digging these big logs here, good height. You can put gear you wanna dry out on it. Got your fire pit, picnic table, tent pad. So yeah, 25 so far is pretty cool. I'm liking this one. And I instantly noticed that there is a well-defined side trail. And this is the direction of our friend Paradise Creek. Ooh, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm digging 25. 25 might even be better than 20D. It's also cool because it's not a D, so it's half the price. Well, no, I'll say this. After this, coming this far, it's not as cool as 20D as far as the shoreline access. 20D is premium, but this is cool. You can climb down here, and problem is, to get to that center rock area, which would be fun to get to, you kind of have to ford this part of this arm of the creek. So very doable. Only do that if you know what you're doing, because creeks can be very dangerous to ford if you're not sure-footed and confident in what you're doing. But theoretically, you could go down to that log, ford that part of the creek, maybe to even take some chairs over there, and then go hang out in that middle section surrounded by creek on both sides. You can see that this center section is right where this fork is created. You can go over there and hang out for a bit. I would only bother doing that if you take everything you need with you, so you can be over there a couple hours, and then you can ford back over to site 25 when you're done. So that's a little less optimal. I'll say that the shoreline of 25 is not as good as the shoreline of 20D. 20D's got the best shoreline, perhaps at this campground. But this campsite 25 has got great lot lines, great privacy. As I come around here, there's nobody. There's really no straight shot. The 25's got great lot lines, and it does have your own private path down to Paradise Creek, but it's a little bit of a fording situation, but that could be fun. If you're adventure oriented, then that could actually be really fun. So I gotta say, 25 is in the mix now. I'm digging 25. I'll say 25 is better than 22. So right now my top three are 20D, 25, and 22. Try to keep a running tally as we go through this 40 some odd campsites. Yeah, so I was happy with 25. I thought 25 was pretty cool. And let's continue along. 26, got your driveway, picnic table, fire pit, and the tent pad the other side of the picnic table. Kind of a log graveyard, a stump graveyard. Could be fun or dangerous, depending on how you look at it. Don't want kids playing on that because the weight of those can shift and very easily pinch your finger. So here's your forest road. Here's 26. Because of how open it is and exposed to the forest road, I would not do 26. Here is 27D. D is for double. We are on the creek side, so that's optimistic. Ooh, and I like how recessed back this is. Gives you better privacy lines. Cool little log here. You got a workstation. You can put stuff down there. I love things at kind of workstation height. Very comfortable. You got your fire pit. You got your tent pad there on the right. It's a double. It says 27 double. So if that's supposed to be a supersized tent pad, or if maybe they want you to put a tent straight ahead there too. I'm digging this one. It feels like it's got great lot lines. Yeah, look at these lot lines. Nobody's in your business. Yeah, there's nobody in your business. So 27D is legit. I'll also say I'm loving this tree. Look at that. Kind of a Leaning Tower of Pisa situation going on. Beautiful tree. And looks like there's going to be some shoreline access potentially down to the creek. I'll stop here because it looks like I got to climb a few logs. A little bit of an adventure to get down to creekside, but presumably you can. So that's good. 27D, D for digging it. I like this one. I still like 20D better. Probably like 25 better. Maybe I would slot this in at third. So I'm sure this is super confusing watching this, but in my noggin it makes sense. Bit of a memory game. It's hard when you're going through like 40 some odd sites off the top of your head to kind of remember and triage them, but we'll see if I can do it. Here's our restroom. So restroom's also right next to 27. That's pretty cool. So yeah, 27D is pretty good. Gotta say, it's potentially a top 5. So the conundrum I have when I'm researching these is, do you compare Ds and non-Ds? Because that's apples to oranges. I mean, a D is a double. It's gonna be twice as expensive. So I don't want to get too cute though, as far as like, here's the best Ds, here's the best non-Ds, etc. That gets a little in the weeds. I might just do the best sites, and how much it costs is up to you. Here's 28D. Again, after you see the 4 I like, you can see probably without me even saying anything why I wouldn't pick this. It's an inner with 2 picnic tables, fire pit. You can see the tent pad on the other side. Beautiful trees. I mean, that forest is epic. Give the forest its due. Gifford Pinchot National Forest. So it's a beautiful area. And actually, now that I come over here, I might be letting my inner loop bias show a little quickly. This is a pretty good site. I don't see any sightline issues. There's nobody line of sight. So actually it's a pretty good one. It doesn't have its own path to Paradise Creek like the other 4 I like. But as far as inners so far, I would say that the bathroom's right there too. 28D is the best inner so far. I'll try to remember that in my mix, 28D. Let's keep going. Here's 29. It is not a D. And you got your driveway. Cool log there. Again, I like the height where you can lean against it, put gear on it. Got your fire pit, you got your picnic table, you got your tent pad. Scan up and look at this forest. There's nothing cool going on at this one, keeping it real. It's right next to the road. Kind of feels claustrophobic. Doesn't appear to be a trail to Paradise Creek, so I would not do 29, keeping it real. To me, the best case scenario is you pick one of the premium ones, and I've got my top 5 so far. We'll see how that changes. So you're actually at the campsite here at Paradise Creek Campground. You feel like you're at a premium location, so you want to just hang out at your campsite because you're right up against Paradise Creek in your Cabela's chairs or whatever you got, just chilling. And then of course you can also use this as a base camp and do some world-class hiking in the area. So that's kind of the best of both worlds. You know, my opinion is, yeah, maybe you're using this as a base camp and you're more focused on the hikes, which I get, but why sacrifice the quality of the campsite? Why just get a meh campsite, then come back here? Because you'll do your hike, but then your hike will be done. Come back here, and if you're just kind of in a mediocre campsite, then it really isn't maximizing the value of your experience. So, my humble opinion. Here's Lava Butte Trail. Down that way, I'm not going to try to do that. Here is 30D. And that is this here on the right. Got a nice driveway. Great for an RV, I would presume. You got 2 picnic tables. You got a tent pad on that side, tent pad on that side. Beautiful swath of forest. 29 really isn't in your business to my right. So yeah, 30D's actually got great privacy lines. Nobody's really messing with you over here. So that's very nice. You know, you're not in a fishbowl triangulation situation. So 30D's pretty good. Here's 31. And you got your driveway, you got your tent pad, picnic table the other side of this tree. I'm not really digging the lot lines of this. The forest is going from higher to lower elevation wise, right to left. And I don't know, this isn't doing anything for me. You can kind of looking down on that campground beneath you. You're not up against the feature. You're actually on the opposite side of Paradise Creek. So 31 is not wetting my whistle. So I will continue. Here's 32. This is an inner driveway. You got your picnic table, fire pit, good shade. Up against this beautiful forest, a lot of old growth trees in this section. Your tent pad, of course. Got some logs strewn about for seating and gear. So 32 is not bad. Pretty good lot lines, actually. 31's over there, obstruction enough, it's not really in your business. So actually, I kind of like 32. 32 is not bad. You got some interesting privacy plays on this side. 32 is pretty decent. I'd say the number of decent sites here is actually a little higher than average. Typically, if you have 40 some odd sites, you might only have 2, 3, 4, 5 that are good. And so far in my head, I'm trying to track about 7 that are decent. 32 is pretty good. Here's 33. Here's our driveway. Picnic table. Tent pad on your side. Of course, fire pit to the left of the picnic table. You do have your friends, 31, like right above you. So for me, that would kind of bug me. If I had like another party like right above me in my peripheral vision, I don't know, not optimal, not something I would want to drive hours away from my house to come experience. So 33 is a deal breaker for me. Keeping it real. Here's 34, driveway, picnic table, fire pit. Kind of a cool forest section, like a lot of old growth forest gives it a grandiose feel. Let me pan up and show you what I'm talking about. So you feel like you're camping amongst giants as far as the trees. Well shaded for that reason. Your tent pad over there on the left. You got fire pit, picnic table. You got 33 over there and 31 up there. I would not say this is the best. Oh, and you have presumably the next one down there. So you got 4 line of sight issues. So I would probably steer clear of this one, although it's not horrible. There's far worse camping, I can tell you, but probably wouldn't do 34, just frankly, because there's like 7 I like better. Good problem to have is when you got enough good sites that you're triaging. Here's 35D, 2 picnic tables. You got your driveway. Got 34 right next to your line of sight. This is a D, so it's gonna be more expensive. You got your fire pit, you got your tent pad right there. Got some other flat areas for more tents. To D, you can put up multiple tents. And yeah, you do have a line of sight. Look at your friend 34 right there. Hey, buddy. Probably wouldn't do 35. D, keeping it real. Here is 36. It's a non-D. It's a single site. Tent pad. Ooh, it looks like you got one across the way. Yeah, I can see the picnic table kind of out there, right there. You can see between the trees. Also got these people right there. Look at that. So 36, no bueno. Here's 37. You've got your driveway, your tent pad straight ahead. Got your fire pit and your picnic table. Beautiful section of old growth forest. I am digging this forest. As far as lot lines, look at that. You got a double right next to you across the way. Not enough thick old growth forest to obscure your lot lines. So I would not do that one, my humble opinion. 37 would not be my cup of tea. Here's 38. Getting close to done. Here's 38. Got our driveway, picnic table, fire pit, tent pad. So you got your friend across the way. Hey, buddy. Wouldn't do that for this reason. It's an inner site. Oh, you also have picnic tables over there. So yeah, fishbowl, no bueno. And 37 is kind of straight shot. So 38, not so good. Here is 39. I mean, this is an epic section of forest. Doesn't it have this epic feel? Got your driveway, got your fire pit, picnic table. I like that the tent pad is recessed back a bit, kind of in the forest, instead of being right up against your vehicle. A beautiful section of forest. Right next to the camp host to your left. So that could be good or bad, depending on if you want to buy wood or if you want to be in a private situation. Sitting here in the tent pad, kind of a dirty undergrowth forest section, all these green bushes. It gives good pop of color, but it's also not like a pristine old growth forest. But you do have a lot of beautiful old growth. Gifford Pinchot National Forest. So that's cool. This one's okay. We're starting to get closer to the main road, and I'm hearing the road noise in the background a bit more. So because we've already found a plethora of good sites, I probably wouldn't do this one. 39 is probably not what I would be here for. And here's 40. Got your driveway, got your picnic table, got your fire pit. This is one of those fishbowl ones. We saw this earlier. The other side of it, see straight ahead? That is a picnic table, my friend. That is another site. So here's your tent pad, here's your fire pit, and here's your picnic table. But look, you're basically sharing it with the people across from you. No bueno, I would not do this one. Here is 42D. It is a group site. It is right next to the opening. There's one across the way, and it's right next to the opening, so you will have some road noise from the main highway. Your driveway, fire pit, picnic table. Pretty epic swath of forest, I gotta say. Flat spot right here, clearly for your tent, but also you got a massive tent pad over there, so places you can put your tent abound. This section of forest is pretty darn epic. So wide section of forest, you're right next to the camp host, and you're pretty close to the turn in, so it's not going to have the best privacy lines or noise, but decent quality. Okay, so I just finished walking Paradise Creek Campground. Here are my thoughts. So as far as the ratio of quality to non-quality campsites, actually a pretty good amount of quality campsites here. I would rank them 20D, then 25, then 27D, then 22, then 32, 30D, and then 28D. I'll have a separate video counting down the best campsites of Paradise Creek, and I'll also do one for the best group situations if you get like two side by side. So overall, I was pretty impressed by Paradise Creek Campground. I was also able to do Panther Creek Campground.